Welcome to Ravnica, the plane that's just one city, the City of Dreams, Sin City.
Cincinnati?
In Ravnica's 3rd district, home to Vitu Gazi, the Great City Tree, a landmark familiar to all. The Enclave is known as a Vernati, and it is led by its tree spirit, called Avoda. Each of you has undergone training of one type or another. That has led your Voda, Aleshna, to call on you to do her bidding. At the prescribed time, you meet at your central tree to speak with her. So let's hear from Rowan.
Rowan is a human, looks older than his years. He has pretty serious demeanor. He is a trained soldier.
Let's hear from Octavius Manadrain.
Octavius is a Vidalcan. He has a slender build. He can be seen kind of carrying familiar. It is a salamander drake that's kind of perched on my shoulder. He's a wizard by trade, and he has a blank, maybe slightly curious stare on him at all times.
Let's hear a little bit about Mahayana.
So Mahayana is a monk, always striving towards the right view, right resolve, mindful of all living creatures and the role that they play in the world. Mahayana gave up her individual identity in order to try to achieve enlightenment.
And the last but not least, Thrakov.
Thrakov is an old man and a big man, about 300 years old, about 400 pounders. He is a war cleric and former captain in the Boros Legion. After some Gruul clans did some Gruul stuff, kind of had a crises of faith. Spent a long time as just a vagabond. Eventually, he joined the Selesnya.
So you go at that time then to meet with Aleshna. The tree, the branches bend down, the roots sort of swell up until a humanoid figure stands before you. She greets you saying, "Thank you for meeting me here, my friends. I have a task to ask of each of you. Something from below me is causing much pain, and I know the other trees can feel it too. What I'm asking of you is to venture into the underground, where the Golgari typically reside. Act as ambassadors in order to quell this disturbance and relieve me of my pain." What is your response?
Thrakov kneels down and he's like,
"Whatever you ask, my lady."
Yeah, of course.
Octavius is kind of bow his head.
It's not very respectful.
Finger guns.
Finger guns. Okay. Before you leave, the Dryad asks you all to come close so that she may lay a blessing upon you. While you are in the twisting and turning tunnels of the Undercity, that you may ever know my presence and know where to find me.
If there's anything I can do before we leave.
I have not faced pain like this before. As a result, I don't believe there is anything you can do for me at this moment, though I very much appreciate your attempt. Some guards come over and they offer to escort you to the passageway. So you make your way to this guarded structure with these escorts.
Have you ever been down there before?
More than one should.
Do we need to prepare anything, or?
Steel your heart and step with care, young one, and we will come out the other side.
They're going to bring you essentially to like another tree. One of the guards opens up a well hidden, nestled in between the two roots. Beyond this door, you can see a set of curving steps. The door will be here waiting for you when you come back.
If we come back.
The guard, he's going to put his hand on your shoulder, Rowan. He's going to look at you meaningfully and say, "The wisdom of the world soul runs through your Voda. She would not steer you wrong."
Thrakov chugs his big old bones and
I'll follow.
So you all notice this rumbling. You must be right nearby, like Worm Transit Tunnel, providing transport to people. The stairs lead to a door.
Does anyone have any way to see beyond this door before we just kick it open? He'll kind of pull out his greatsword as he's saying this.
If we just crack the door open, I can send my drake.
What's your drake's name, by the way?
He
Drake.
doesn't have a name that a human could pronounce.
Josh! You crack this door open. They sort of flit out and do a quick survey of the area and return to you, giving you the equivalent of an all clear.
Can we grab one of these magic torches off the stairway?
You actually can. They come free.
Easy.
So
my guy's gonna cast dancing lights.
spectral leaves kind of crawl up his arms as he whoosh,
Wow. Makes my torch look stupid.
kind of. I mean, I guess.
He does that, and I'm just going to throw the torch to the ground.
You see halls offshooting with large amounts of like fungal growth. To your left and right is just like sewage systems running. So like running water. The smell of putrid sewage fills your nostrils.
Thrakov's in heaven.
Oh, good.
Oh, that big snoozer is.
You could roll a perception check if you'd like to do some investigating.
Well, do you want me to investigate or do you want me to percept?
Sorry, if you could roll a perception check if you want to do some percepting.
Verbs are important.
And you are able to make out a Golgari, the Golgari symbol above these hallways.
Perhaps the source of the Voda's pain.
You can sense her roots through that hallway in front of you.
Gonna be scribbling in like a book almost constantly as we're doing this. He's like almost taking notes of the whole adventure. This way.
Thrakov and Rawin. You'll notice that as you proceed through these hallways, that there is the sound of insectile chittering just out of eyesight at all times.
Pay no mind to the murmuring of the rot witches.
I don't like that.
I'm gonna kind of pretend to get distracted by something to move to the back of the line.
He's going ahead and he's like, oh, no.
Is this like a declaration of war, or is it more like
No,
is
no.
a Tuesday?
As Aleshna mentioned, like, your ambassadors, you are not going to make war, but you are going to, figure out what's causing this disturbance.
Suppose we just try and talk to them first and see what's happening?
I don't see why not. I mean, there's no reason to go in with sticks ablazing.
I'm not going to start a war, but I'm going to finish one. Cock my greatsword. I'm sure the Izzet have guns.
They've got lightning guns at least.
The tunnel opens up to a much brighter area, although certainly no more inviting. It's kind of a maze of collapsed, crumbling architecture and bubbling muck. You'll have to do some survival checks to wander through this maze of crumbling architecture and goopy soup. Goopy soup, soupy soup.
We just know of the Rotfarms. We don't have any other kind of knowledge about what a Rotfarm entails or...
Yeah, okay. So why don't you roll a history check?
I also have the researcher trait.
I also... Are you a sage background too?
Yeah, are you?
Yeah.
Twinsy.
Yeah, apparently you guys are twins.
Luckily, with your background, you know that you can find out from Mahayana, who's right next to you. So Mahayana, you would know that the Golgari have two really main functions: waste disposal, sewer management. They essentially turn death into life again. And the other thing they do, the creation of what is only known as gruel, food slop. It has enough nutrients to keep your average citizen trucking. Whoever's leading the pack, make a survival check.
Love to.
We're relying on you.
It's not great, folks. I'm sorry.
A shift in the goopy gunk next to you gives way to a sort of moaning cry. Reaction time.
I'm gonna throw my hand out like moms do when you're right in the front seat with them and they gotta stop real fast.
Okie dokie. Everybody roll initiative. Let's do a combat, our first combat ever.
All the people listening at home, just imagine cool battle music here, like honestly, my singing's so good, that's probably gonna get copyright struck.
So first up in the order of initiative is going to be Dakota.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like take the sickle and like whack, and then I'm gonna turn it over and just like fucking hit him on top of the head with.
Next up is going to be Brandon.
Thrakov's gonna do a big old elephant roar. You know what I mean? Big old one of those guys. You know what?
You can't roll your eyes, but you can do that, dude.
He's gonna thwack that boy.
Roll the thwack.
Hey, I didn't roll good. I rolled a very bad
You
number.
rolled very bad. You attempt to swing big at this guy, but your foot gets stuck in the goopy goop. Next up is Coldblee.
Octavius is gonna like run over here, and he's gonna cast Color Spray. They're blind until the end of their next turn.
Good timing, cause it's this guy's turn. So he's gonna shamble up to the big old elephant. But anyways, he's gonna swing his big meaty fist at you, elephant man.
I block it with my elephant power.
Rowan.
Thrakov! And then get behind this guy, take out my greatsword, and just try and cleave from top to bottom.
How did you deal 15 damage at level 1?
Trumpets in approval.
You have to do it. This zombie's going to attack Mahayana. 5 bludgeoning damage as it strikes you in the chest.
I actually don't have my hit points. How many hit points do I have?
Your hit die, which I imagine is a 6 or an 8 for a monk, probably.
It's an 8, yeah.
Then you
D8
add
plus your con mod.
Yeah, add your con mod, and that's your level 1 hit points.
Oh no.
Your 8 plus your con. What is that? What's
How
that?
much did you hit me for?
5 damage.
Okay. I only have 8 hit points, so.
No con
Yeah,
modifier.
0 con. Got it.
Sick. This one's gonna shamble over to Mr. Vidalkin. 7 to hit.
Negative.
6.
I do have a really low AC though.
Dakota, it's your turn.
Might I suggest killing him?
Did you say I should kill him?
I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did last time, but like going the other way, like, playing good tennis.
Mix it up on him.
Yeah.
Nice. Brennan.
I want to smash!
Oh, that's
Hey!
it. That's gonna be a hit,
That's
bro.
the money.
You cave his skull in. He's dead. Next up in the initiative order is Coldblee.
Octavius is gonna continue flipping through his book, and he's gonna start to murmur, and you're gonna see his eyes kind of glass over like they're freezing, and I'm gonna cast Frostbite.
Daru.
I'll step over here. I'll go for round 2 with the flanking greatsword cleave.
It just buckles backwards and collapses over your sword and is lifeless.
I'll pull the sword out. Once I feel confident that everything is dead, I'll sheath it.
You didn't think this through.
For those who want to know like what this is or if they've seen it, do a nature check.
I can't roll it.
Mahayana, you recognize this just to be your run-of-the-mill fungus drudge. They're part of the ecosystem of the Rotfarms. Everything has its place in Golgari territory, both in life and death, and reanimated dead are very much a part of this. So this is nothing out of the ordinary.
I definitely am gonna clean off my sickle and keep the goop. And I'm gonna like go into too much detail. Like, this is the zombie, and like they create this fungus, and this fungus feeds off of these specific types of bacteria. And it's very interesting that it chose to attack us because we're not actually rotting yet. And so I really wonder, kind of what's going on here. And
I'm gonna write it all down.
I like this twinsies dynamic you two have going.
Where Mahayana actually knows everything, and Octavius just writes it
Just
down.
scribbling everything down.
I'm gathering knowledge for the great library.
Uh-oh, lore dump, backstory alert.
Whoever wants to make one more survival check.
Drew, do not do that. Do not do that on stream. You can't put that on stream, Drew.
Illegal.
Why not?
Jesus.
Report it. I'm reporting
Jesus.
my own stream.
This is for the Vor audience, dude.
That's illicit content, dude.
Stop!
Oh, bro.
Okay.
Whatever.
So, under the guidance,
Pour it
guidance of Thrakov, he's able to navigate you through the crumbling arches and pillars, and eventually you can see a chapel. It's just like belching noxious fumes, like just ugly looking gas into the air. So just ignore what's going on in the chapel, but I haven't
Sure.
I haven't implemented the fog of war shit just yet. I don't really know how it works.
I'll help you out. Don't worry.
Cheers, bro.
Yeah, Brennan's on it.
Oh, thanks, dog. Yeah,
With
that's
me.
great. Thank you. That's super helpful.
Thrakov will go in, and then he'll call if it's, all clear. And if it's not, then you guys can come in guns blazing.
The salamander Drake's gonna crawl up Thrakov's back.
Leading up to the chapel, just like a field of mushrooms, like on either side of this path. the mushroom caps nearest you like pop up a little, and they just start screaming.
I start running forward.
As the ones closest to you start shrieking, like, starts a ripple effect, and like all of them start shrieking until it's just this chorus of screaming mushrooms.
Whatever's inside knows we're here.
As if on cue, out of one of the entrances of the chapel, a door opens. A very large insectile-looking thing. It's got, massive wings. I'll let you guys make a history roll to see if you know what this is.
Rowan doesn't care.
Alright. Once again, Mahayana, you recognize this being as a crawl, sort of like the foot soldier class of the Golgari. It is going to, sticking its head out at you and, making some sound of, enunciation, and then it just ducks back into the chapel.
I would like to cast Minor Illusion if I could. I want it to be like a melody, almost like a lullaby.
So, you do that. And it is completely drowned out by the shrieking.
I'm gonna go ahead and pop off a Sacred Flame.
All the ones within the range of your flame stop screaming. They just sort of wither and die. But the rest of them are still doing the screaming. Why don't some of y'all make a nature check to try and identify what these things are? Mahayana, you recognize these things as shriekers?
These are shriekers, and maybe if we get out of their way, they will stop yelling. What's really good about these guys is they,
Oh my god,
really
kick the door open.
The door is kicked open. It's completely, decrepit. Well, the altar now, these days, is being used as sort of like a table for scientific equipment, beakers and vials, and there's a couple of massive cauldrons bubbling away.
I think this is the Golgari version of a meth lab.
Is going to be a goblin and this crawl. As you're examining this situation, this goblin is going to take a step forward, and he's going to say, "You've stumbled into private property, and I'm gonna have to ask you to leave."
I'm impressed, Sean. That was good.
Thanks, buddy. Would you like to make an intimidation check, please?
Certainly. Thrakov will step in, right? And he's gonna place his hammer on the ground, right? Out like that. And he's gonna stand at his full height, and he's gonna say,
Can I get a pogger? Your meddling brings pain to our Vota.
The crawl is gonna step forward, and he's gonna do The goblin is then going to say, "We're just two sovereign citizens doing our best in the world. So you can step off or taste fire."
Thrakov will take a step forward and slam his hammer on the ground very hard and reiterate that their meddling is harming their Vota.
"That's why I came down here. Because I'm not on the bottom of the totem pole from people like you anymore." And everybody roll initiative.
What about this, Sean? You could hawk a loogie straight down, onto me, on your stream.
Oh, that'd be hilarious, dude. Should we do that? That sucked ass, and now I'm soaked.
What just happened?
Seeing his companion level his metallic instrument in your direction, the crawl's wings flare out, and it springs into action. And it is going to approach Thrakov, and he's going to thrust at him with a spear. 7 to hit.
That does not hit.
Bounces off your mighty elephant armor. Colby.
Colby, do you think it'd be kind of funny if you adopted a line where you're like, "It's Colberian time," like clobbering time?
That's a good one. He's got a flamethrower, right?
You don't know what it is. Your character certainly doesn't know what a flamethrower is.
Seems like
I do know what a flamethrower is, and that goblin's got one. So, huck an ice knife at the goblin.
7 to hit.
Shit.
It's gonna bounce off his breastplate.
I forgot that breastplate was a thing until you said breast, and I was like,
I don't really have that defined of eyebrows, so you can't really see when I'm doing a suggestive eyebrow raise. Drew, could I get a suggestive eyebrow raise, please? Yeah, that's the sauce. The Golgari, he's gonna step up. He's gonna say some shit like, bottoms up! Level his instrument at you and produce a jet of flame. Next in line is the Elephant Man.
I'm gonna make an attack on that nasty bug.
A bludgeoning.
What does he look like after he takes a big ol' smite from the Loxodon, as it were?
I don't know if y'all ever watch Rick and Morty. This guy's been thoroughly crunched. Rowan.
That's too much. I think he would probably try to talk down the goblin. He's not trying to intimidate. He's trying to be reasonable.
Okay, yeah, persuasion with advantage.
That is a 16.
Hey, good roll. He sees the paste you just made out of his compatriot. You know, I sort of feel as if we've got started off the wrong foot here. We're all reasonable people. He takes off like the casket. What can I do you for today, folks? I want
to start inspecting his machine back here that's billowing smoke.
Careful that one. That's prone to go boom anytime now.
Your meddling brings pain to our Vota. Who commands you?
Nobody commands Rizzy but Rizzy. I'm sick of being bossed around. I was trying to make my own way in this.
At this point, Thrakov will gingerly set his hand on the goblin's shoulder and tell him to dismantle his machine, and he'll come up to the surface with us. Not in like a threatening, aggressive way, but in just like a matter-of-factly, like, this is what's going to happen.
Perhaps you'll fit in well with the Selesnya. That's what we're here for, right? Ambassadors.
All deserve a second chance.
What, a third?
No!
Amongst all that garbage, you also find like a jar of mood mark paint.
I'm gonna take it.
Dakota, you're going to recognize a very faint magical aura. It definitely like resembles a flute.
I'm gonna pick it up and play it.
I'd rather we leave.
Yeah, I'd rather we leave too.
Maybe talk to Breezy some more on the way.
Reezy, not Breezy.
I like Breezy a lot better.
Yeah, I thought it was Breezy.
Well, his name is Reezy because it's my world and I'm the dungeon master.
That's fine.
Okay.
His name is Reezy. No argument.
Okay.
We are calling him Breezy.
Okay.
I have the flamethrower. So.
Colby, I'm just gonna, every couple minutes just have you make a random D20 roll.
You know what?
It's for no reason at all. It's for no reason at all. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna huck the fucking flamethrower into the wall. It's Cobra in time.
You don't! Why would you do that? It's totally out of character.
He's doing it.
Alright, you huck it into the wall and it explodes. This chapel is now very much on fire.
Yeah, I'll just grab Reezy and run out.
Thrakov, you're able to navigate back through the rot farm. You don't notice the chittering that you noticed before. And eventually make your way back to that sewer entrance. Or where the sewer entrance should be. There is no entrance back into the sewers anymore. There's a stone wall. I don't think we made a wrong turn or anything. Is this where you guys came from before? This wall is definitely newer. You also detect the faint presence of magic. To the best of your investigative ability, you have been walled into Golgari territory.